I'm David Peterson from Digital Photo Secrets and The Dash, and I'm here today with Janet Patkowa, who emailed the Dash participants recently with some really good news about some photographs that she recently took. Welcome, Janet.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. And you had some really good news about some photos recently.
Yes, I did. I entered a couple of contests and ended up getting second place in both of them.
Fantastic news. That's really, really great. It must be really pleasing to get second place in not just one photographic contest, but two.
Right, yeah, our city puts on a couple of contests and I saw them. I thought, why not put in some of these pictures? I have so many pictures that I've been taking through the Dash that look really good. I kind of had looked at some of the other contestants because some of them were posted online. And I'm like, well, mine aren't that bad. I'm pretty sure I can compete. So, yeah, I went for it.
Beautiful. And it's really good that you did because it's really great to get some recognition for your work too.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. How long have you been photographing?
Well, I mean, I've been photographing my whole life. When I was a small kid, I had a cat, and I mean, I took pictures of her nonstop. I think I have a huge photo album that most people have pictures of their family and what they did for summer vacation. I have a million of my cat. So, I mean, I've always been interested in photography. I took a black and white, or when film camera was still around. I took a class with that where I would learn darkroom techniques and that kind of thing. I frankly don't have patience for that, so when digital came out, it was like a whole new world opened up. So, you know, I've gotten cameras along the way, point and shoots, cameras that are a little bit better, and now as I'm progressing, cameras that are even better, and learning how to use them is really what I needed.
Yeah, that's one thing I've found is that it's not only the camera, it's also the person behind the camera too.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have helped. Of course, with better cameras and better electronics, it definitely makes things easier for us as photographers now, but it's only half the equation.
Yeah, if you don't know how to use them, then it doesn't matter. I mean, how many of us have had thought, oh, I'm going on a trip, or there's this event that I want to, attend, and I want to get great pictures of it. So you know what I need? I need a new camera. And we go out and we spend that money, and we end up taking exactly the same pictures because we don't know how to use it, and we put it on auto, and the pictures just end up as snapshots. So I challenge people, actually, if they're considering buying a new camera, take the Dash. Way cheaper. Learn how to use it.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. It's unfortunately the camera marketers seem to have us all over a barrel at the moment. We need to get the latest and greatest new thing, of course, because we want to line their coffers with more money.
Right. Sure.
Are you a professional photographer?
Absolutely not. Amateur all the way.
So it just sounds like you do it because you love it.
Yeah, absolutely. You walk around, you see beautiful buildings, you see lots of things in nature, and you want to capture those. And it's difficult to do that when you see it, and what you take on the camera doesn't turn out to be what you want. And that's what I found with the class, is that I'm actually able to envision a scene and say, this is what I want to take, a beautiful sunset, and it actually comes out looking right now.
Wonderful. Really good. Well, I just wanted to have a look at the first photo that you took. This is the one that you originally posted to say that I won second place, which I thought was fantastic. That you did, and you posted a photo too of you in front of the second place ribbon.
I was very happy that day.
I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about that photograph. First off, I guess, what was the contest that you went to? You said it was a city contest?
Yeah, the city public libraries. I live in the city of Henderson in the Las Vegas Valley. They had a contest for the library. It was a summer reading photography. They wanted pictures of summer reading. The topic of it was the elements. And to me, the first thing that jumped out was, oh, the elements of a story, So I'd already taken this picture in the Dash, and I just thought it was the perfect example of the elements of a story. And there's a lot to that picture because there's the trail map and there's the key and passports there, so you can really try to imagine your own story behind it. So I rushed home, I got the picture together, the application, turned it in, and then I started looking at the other pictures, and they all had interpreted the elements as water and nature, and I'm like, oh man, I totally blew this, but I guess it was what they were looking for because they picked it. Maybe because it was a different perspective, something they weren't expecting
That's probably right, yes. So you didn't take the photograph specifically for the contest, but you noticed that the photo you'd taken before would be perfect.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, I had taken it for one of the Dash, the macro photography Dash.
Yeah, I remember that contest. That was really good because I think I got you to photograph a key
Yes.
with something around it, some kind of context. Was that right?
I think the topic was to take the key and make sure that you could see all the divots that were present in the key. So, because it was the macro dash, so you wanted to really pick up on those details. And when I went to do that, I noticed that the key didn't really take up that much of the picture. So I had all this extra space, and I thought, I'll tell a story with this. And that's when I started putting the other elements in there with it, and then blurred all those out and made sure to just keep that key in focus.
And I assume you did all that in camera. You didn't use Photoshop or anything?
Oh yeah, the blur and everything I did with having learned how to use the aperture properly to make the picture how I wanted it.
Yeah.
That's how that came out. Yeah.
But it's a great composition as well. I love the fact that the key is sort of in the front section. If you know anything about the rule of thirds, it's sort of right on one of the junction of two of the thirds lines, which is one of the best places to have a subject of interest. And your books and the maps in the background just sort of fill out the whole frame. It's a nice photograph if your eye is wandering around.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. So.
Oh, it worked.
And actually, if you notice along the line of the book, I've actually underlined the word wilderness. I thought that was my little.
Ah, no, I didn't notice that. I should go back and have a look.
There's more to that picture.
So did you consider any other photos for this entry, or this was the one that you thought, I've got to enter this one. I know exactly the one I want to enter.
No, for that contest, when I saw that was the elements, that's exactly what I thought of, and that was the only one that I entered for that.
Have you entered any contests in the past?
Yeah, there was another one in Nevada. I don't remember what it was, but they wanted outdoor scenery. And I did enter that. I didn't hear anything back. It seemed like those pictures, when I saw who won, were really kind of more on the professional side.
Right.
So I gave it a shot, and it didn't turn out.
Do you know how many people entered the competition that you got second place in?
I believe that one there was about 20 pictures.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So the other photo you took was a wonderful night garden image, and it sounds like you took this one from a dash as well.
Yes, that's true.
Which one was this? Which was the topic?
This was night photography, and the topic was night garden.
So I think I remember I asked you to go out and take a photograph of your garden at night with only illumination from something that's around, like a street lamp or something.
Yep, and I don't have a yard, I don't have a garden, so I headed out to the city's gardens because they have so many parks in this city, so it wasn't very difficult to come across a whole bunch of flowers and colors, and so I just spent some time, and it's actually quite serene at night, and I thought that this this garden there had a lot of colors. I had the tree on the left side of the picture that helped frame it, and then there's the gazebo-like structure there where there's a bench in there, and yeah, just really tried to spend some time with the composition, spend some time letting the shutter stay open, and really grabbing all that color in.
I love the composition too. It seems as if you've taken it from a low angle.
Yes, I had it about as low as I could get it on the tripod.
What made you think of that?
I think it was probably one of the suggestions from your class as far as consider different points of view. And I really kind of wanted to accent the flowers, but make sure that that gazebo was in the back.
Because I think that's what makes it. Our eye is drawn towards the background because the light is there, and it's an interesting shape, or different shapes to the garden in the foreground.
Yeah.
So you entered this one in a competition as well, or I guess it was a different contest, and you won second place in that one too.
Well, there were 4 categories. It was actually the City of Henderson's Parks Department put on, it's a Henderson Trails photo contest. So they were looking for 4 categories. One was trails, another one was parks, I think animals and birds. I entered the trails and the parks, and the parks is the category that I came in second place. So they haven't actually picked the final best in show yet and all those pictures, so I'd still have a chance to
still have it in the running.
Yeah.
Well, let me know what happens with that. I'd be really interested to know.
Oh, I will post about it.
Was this like your other image where you immediately thought this is the photo that I want to enter in this competition, or did you have to think about it for a bit?
When I was looking around at the parks and I was trying to see which park and which angle I wanted to take, then I kind of thought about the other pictures, and they were all taken during the day. And I remembered that I took this one in the city's park, so it fit.
Qualified, yeah.
And I just thought, hey, it's a little bit different. And again, I went with a different angle, a different thing than what had been submitted in the past, and maybe that's what made them take a look at my picture.
Yeah, great. That's really good. And people who are judging competitions see the same sort of thing all the time. The fact that they see something slightly different or a slightly different take on something that they haven't seen before, that's makes it stand out for them, and that's what helps you get the high marks.
Yeah, hopefully that's what did it.
So I just want to talk about how you took that photo too, because I think it's really interesting how you said you kept the shutter open for a long time to boost the colours, and that's of course a great way of making sure you have a lot of colour in night photography. I guess you used a tripod because otherwise you wouldn't have been able to get a steady image.
Yes, I definitely use a tripod. Yeah, I pretty much just chose the angle. I think I took the picture a couple times just to get some different angles. I had gone closer to where the benches were. I didn't really like how that was panning out. So basically I set up the tripod there, set it for a couple seconds. I don't remember exactly what the specifications were on what I actually ended up using, but I know I tried several different combinations and then went home and took a look and saw what looked best.
Probably always the best way to go, isn't it? Trial and error?
Yep.
In some respects, I guess. So you've been a participant of the Dash since February. You've been a long-term subscriber to the Dash. I've looked at your photos throughout the whole time you've been involved in the Dash, and I seem to have noticed that they have been improving quite a bit as the months have gone on. Do you think the Dash has improved your photography?
Oh, absolutely. You know, you go from being able to take snapshots and not understanding why some pictures look better than others, and actually spending the time. You know, what's great about the Dash is that it's in the perfect amount of doses, especially for someone who works, to be able to get a little bit of information, spend the time to have an assignment. The assignment thing works great for me because then I know what I'm aiming for. You know, I don't have to come up with my own ideas. And then I also get to see what everybody else decides. That's the best part. They post things, you start looking at how they interpret the assignment, and then you can think, well, okay, that's working, or I really didn't like that, or, you know, that picture looks plain. That one looks outstanding. Like, why? What's the difference? And just spending a lot of time with it over an extended period of time, you know, the 6 months or so that I've been in it, really allows you to learn and grasp and take those things internally. Now when I go out to take pictures, I just kind of know those things.
I equate it to similar to driving a car. It's when you first start driving, you have to think about everything. You have to think about changing the gear stick if you've got a manual and put your indicator on, things like that. But after a little while, it becomes second nature, and you do it without thinking about it. And you can listen to the radio and sing along at the same time if you want to.
Right, for sure. Because, and I mean, by far, I certainly no expert, and I don't know nearly as much as you know for the years that you've been involved with it. But I've seen such vast improvement just with what I'm capable of doing, mostly just being able to execute out the idea that I see in my head. No longer do I, for example, I went to Death Valley a couple of months ago, and a year ago my pictures would have been, of course, because you go in the middle of the daytime because nobody gets up at the golden hour and actually gets out to somewhere that they want to be on the right time. So you're there in the middle of the day and the sun is so bright, and before I would have had a picture of a complete white sky, white, mountains. You wouldn't even see the mountains in the background. You just would have seen, really plain picture. And now I was able to take with the right filters and knowing how to get the exposure just right, a beautiful picture with blue sky and the white sands that are in Death Valley. It's just amazing what I was able to come up with just because I knew what to pay attention to.
Fantastic. It's really good. In fact, I do like your quirky way that you imagine your photos. In fact, I chose your dog photograph, the one that you took for the Animals Dash. Fantastic way to show personality in your dog.
Yeah, that was a challenging day because she has not warmed up to my new camera. So it was a lot of holding her just at arm's length and clicking. But because I know what the aperture was, I knew that what I really needed was the aperture to be at a certain thing and her nose to be in focus. And actually, I took the picture because I took it in RAW because I've learned that through the Dash. I was able to take a picture that actually looked almost black, and then take it into the post-processing software that I learned how to use through the Dash, and then actually bring out all the colors and everything else. And what was important was that nose was in focus, and yeah, that ended up being a really great picture.
I love it. I love the fact that it's not a standard photograph, and maybe that's what similar to what we were talking about before. It stood out because it's not what everyone else takes.
Right.
We've talked about the challenges and how they get you out there and get you photographing, and you sort of learn things by osmosis. How's the social aspect of the Dash helped you in being able to see what other photographers have taken of the challenge and then put up there so you can see.
Well, the social aspect really adds that extra element. You know, especially taking an online class, you don't get that one-on-one with the teacher like you would if you took a class. But then if you take a class in town, you have to go to it, and it's a lot more time consuming. This is something you can kind of take in when you want. I get really addicted to the social aspect part where I put a photo up, I want to see what everybody thinks. I want to see how many likes I get. I want to see what the comments are. And that aspect of it really engages you. And you know, you obviously then comment on other people's photos, and that makes you take a better, more critiquing look at their photos. But I think
the comments helped you?
Oh, absolutely. Like that night garden picture that you have, you've got the copy where the gazebo thing is kind of crooked. Well, when I posted the photo, because when you take pictures, you concentrate on certain aspects of the picture. So I was getting the flowers right. I was getting that tree to frame. And I wasn't really concentrating on the fact that it wasn't straight. And so when I posted the picture, I had a lot of people comment on the picture itself. And a couple of them said, hey, you know, I would straighten that out. And I'm like, straighten what out? You know, I got the part over here right. Oh, I wasn't even looking over there. But because they had looked at it and they're, you know, just looking at a picture and saying, oh, this kind of looks off a little bit, I straightened it before I sent that picture into the photo contest. So yeah, I definitely think that the social aspect of it helps out tremendously, just to be able to interact with other people that are looking at the same pictures at the same time as you are.
Going back to the competition for a minute, do you have any advice for others wanting to enter their photos in a competition?
I would say, you know, first and foremost, take great pictures. Right now, as you're taking pictures, take the time to, you know, make the composition exactly what you want and get the exposure right and take the, you know, time to make a really, really great picture. And then when you look around, you see some kind of contest, you'll be like, oh, I know that picture. That picture would be perfect for this. And you don't have to then see a contest and be stressed about, oh my God, I need to find the perfect thing to put on this. You already have it. And then you just need to enter it. I mean, what are you going to lose if you enter it?
Exactly, yes.
It's really great to get that feedback from a contest. I mean, these are people that have nothing to do with me, and they can look at my picture and pick it out of a crowd. I mean, that just feels really good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
How about the dash? Would you recommend that to others?
Oh, I already have. And I absolutely would tell other people to take the dash. I mean, it's a really good way to get some good information about how to take better pictures, and your photography is going to improve. It can't not improve.
Thank you. Much appreciated. And hey, listen, thanks for taking the time to speak with us too today, and hope things all work out for the maybe first place in the overall competition.
If not, my picture's hanging in City Hall, so that's fine.
It sounds like you've won already.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Janet. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, David. Really appreciate it.